We're off and running in 2025, and the good news is, well, there's not too much happening in February, but I am still here to share with you the things to look out for, and of course, as the things that are shifting in the heavens, what gifts from Mother Earth we have to bless us and support us along the way. Now, our first major event will happen on the 3rd of February. This is one of the solar festivals, and it depends which hemisphere you're in what you want to lean into. So first of all, to my friends that are with me down here in the Southern Hemisphere, it is the festival of Lughnasadh. Now, this is halfway between the summer solstice and the autumn equinox. This is where we start to see the slight slowing down of summer. The weather will start to cool soon, and this is kind of a bit of a harvest celebration, especially from the traditional agricultural societies where we take many of our earth-loving traditions from. So Lughnasadh is a time of celebrating and kind of counting our blessings, I guess, as we kind of look and take stock of what we've achieved in the last 12 months. Lughnasadh is named after a god Lu, who was a very kind of kingly god, but also very musical in that way. So this is a really great time to kind of enjoy the arts and get out there, and maybe if you're artistic, go with that, work with your sacral chakra, get a bit of creativity going, or go and support local artists, because we know that it's always sometimes a thankless job and a hard task for them to, earn an income and different things like that. That's why this month here in Perth, we've got the Fringe Festival, and I've been going to 2 to 3 shows a week just to support local artists in this way. Other things about Lughnasadh are very much being grateful for what you have and sharing that gratitude as well, and really in taking time to enjoy it. I love to spend a bit of time around Lughnasadh reflecting on what I've achieved in the last 12 months, because if you're a goal-orientated person and you always got these goals and always looking forward, we tend to, when we achieve something, just go, right, what's next, what's next, what's next, and never really enjoy the fruits of our labour by ourselves, but also with the people we care about. So Lughnasadh is really about that. It's a great time to work with the sacral chakra, enjoying it, doubling down, I guess, on those really close relationships that you want, because we are heading towards winter, and in those colder months, that's where we really need the support of those we love. So the crystal that I'm working with for Lughnasadh is Sunstone. Being a solar festival and where the sun is in the sky, Sunstone brings that joyfulness, it brings that playfulness, it works really well with our sacral chakra. So you can either wear a pendant like I am here, or meditate or place it somewhere near your sacral chakra as well. To bring in that atmosphere of joy, another sacral chakra gift is wild orange. Wild orange really helps us to answer the question. It seems like a simple question, but it's actually quite deep when we look at it. What makes you happy? Now, you may go, oh, my family makes me happy, or I don't know, spending time with friends makes me happy. But we always know that, people and even things can only, family, for example, we love them, but sometimes they can be absolute shits, can't they? So we can't rely on them to keep us happy all the time, nor can we rely on something, like an item or a food to keep us happy in that way. It's about going, okay, what can I use or can I always lean into to fulfill me and make me feel grateful and happy? For me, it's spending time in nature. It's also writing. I can always go write and explore and research, and it doesn't matter what's happening in the world and what everyone else's mood is in, that makes me happy. Those are the kind of things we want to explore around Lughnasadh. But what happens if you're like, shut up, Adam, we're in the Northern Hemisphere, we want to hear about that? Well, this is the celebration of Imbolc. Imbolc is the halfway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. So it may not feel like it just yet, but the days are getting longer and slowly they'll start to get warmer. Imbolc roughly translates to mean lamb's milk or ewe's milk. This is traditionally around the time when the baby lambs are born, and it's kind of when the first light and the first signs of spring may be starting to show. I'd love to know in the comments, have you started to see signs of spring yet? This is where we're kind of shaking off the snow and the kind of coldness of winter and starting to get back into action and think about, okay, I've been in this meditative state throughout winter. Now, what am I going to do with that? How can I bring that into action, and what plans do I need to make? It may not quite be the time for action just yet. We normally wait till about the spring equinox to actually spring into action, but it's time to start thinking with the third eye chakra before we start talking about it at the spring equinox. So it's a really great time to maybe I like to light candles in my eastern window when I'm celebrating Imbolc, because it's inviting the warmth of the new sun into your home and the blessings as well. You can also place some of your favorite solar crystals around there, things like amber, sunstone, citrine can be great, rutile can be great. Any of those kind of orange or yellow crystals that you associate with the sun are absolutely fabulous. But it is a great time to work with the third eye chakra. The crystal that I've chosen that I feel would be really great right now would be Lapis Lazuli. Lapis Lazuli is actually a stone. It's not a crystal. A stone is made up of 3 different crystals. So you have the lazurite, which gives us this beautiful royal blue. And you will see bits of white in it. That's calcite. We know that calcite clears away things and clears away the distractions when the lazurite brings in the motivation and the wisdom and the guidance from above. Pyrite is all about building on the success that we already have and knowing what to do. This is why this stone is known as the stone of kings, gods, and leaders. It allows you to bring down inspiration, to clear out all the distractions and know what needs to be done. That's what we want in a leader, and it's what you probably want in your life as well. So working with Lapis Lazuli around Imbolc can really help you to start to work out, what do I need to focus my attention on? Now, to bring in as just a powerful essential oil, Sandalwood works really beautiful for the third eye chakra. So this is going to be a really nice one to anoint on the third eye chakra. You can actually use it in your skincare, and that's going to help as well. Really nourishing for the skin. And it does have a bit of an attraction quality to it, so it will help to attract what you're starting to think about. And if we think about the sandalwood tree, it reaches its roots out to form helpful relationships in that way. So this can be a really nice one to work with around that Imbolc. Moving now from the solar festival to the lunar festival, and on the 14th of February, it is Valentine's Day, but it's also the full moon in Leo. Now this is quite timely to fit in with Valentine's Day this year, because Leo governs leisure, pleasure and play, creativity and artistry. So it's a really great time to work out, how do I bring more pleasure into our lives? This is a really great time if you are in a relationship and it maybe the fun has been fizzling out, maybe you've been too focused on work and obligations, to really use this lunar energy to make a pact with your partner and yourself to bring more fun into your life. Now, you don't have to be in a relationship and you don't need to focus on your partner, but how do you bring that playfulness into your life? How do you enjoy and make sure that you're not working too hard and you do have that work-life balance? This is a great time to make those resolutions and bring some powerful energy in. We often dismiss pleasure or leisure time as being something that, is kind of what we have when we have spare time. We'll have our pleasure and our social time. But when we look at people, if you've ever watched the Blue Zones and look at the importance of having community and a group of people around you that you're close to, nurturing those relationships is important for us on all levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So you really want to think about that kind of group that you want to have around you in this full moon in Leo. A group that's fun, that you like to play with and you can feel comfortable with, and that encourage you to be like the lion, to be bold. Find your pride, a pride that you can be proud of on the full moon in Leo. Now, a beautiful crystal to work with is blue topaz. We have moonstone, which is great to work with on all full moons, but if you want to go up a bit of a vibration or an octave, blue topaz is definitely it. And as we know, that Leo energy is about being bold and brave, and this has a bit of a noble energy about it, about kind of bringing yourself up to that highest vibration where you are the best version of yourself and you're hanging out and enjoying yourself with the best people that support that fun as well. When we are that best version of ourselves, when we do enjoy ourselves and we are happy and we feel supported, then we can succeed in other aspects of our life. So use your blue topaz. It's a really great one for helping us to be really tactful in our communication, to be open and honest in our communication, and not to hold back, and to be real free. And it brings real boldness. So it's a really beautiful one that I love to bring out and wear around that full moon in Leo. To bring on that playfulness of the citrus oils, the most playful and the most childlike is the mandarins. And yellow mandarin really, really resonates with the full moon, whereas green mandarin resonates with the new moon and red mandarin with the dark moon. So here we have yellow mandarin, a semi-ripe fruit, halfway through the lunar cycle. It's kind of like adults. Do you know what I mean? We're still establishing who we are and what we want to be, but this reminds us to not get too serious adulting and to have fun along the way. As adults, we're often like, I need to be serious and I need to do these serious things because I'm an adult now. But when we lose that sense of playfulness, we dampen part of our spirit. It affects our inner child and so on. So blue topaz and yellow mandarin are going to be great around the 14th of February for not only Valentine's Day, but for that full moon in Leo. Let's bring that playful energy into this year's Valentine's Day. Now, on the 24th, we have a planet coming out of retrograde. And I don't normally talk about planets coming out of retrograde or direct, but I've had a few inquiries and kind of conversations with people about this recently, so I think it's worth mentioning. So Mars is coming out of retrograde, or Mars is going direct. Now, Mars is traditionally known as the planet of war, but it's also, if we kind of bring that into more modern terms, it's the planet of passion, motivation, and drive. And so Mars is kind of, when it's around us and when it's impacting us, it's like that personal trainer that's going, go, go, one more, push, push, push. It kind of inspires us to keep going forward. It's been in retrograde now since late last year, and you may have found over the Christmas break and the holiday break and even to now that you're feeling a bit unenthused. That's because Mars isn't inspiring you, and Mars has gone on holidays to help you find what do you want to do in life where you don't need to be inspired all the time or pushed to do it, where you just love doing it and you can't hold back. It's about creating a life that you're truly passionate about rather than just doing things because you feel you should or you feel obliged to do that. So when a planet is going into retrograde, it's like a splinter. When it's going in and when it's coming out is when you feel it the most. And so we would have felt it when it went into retrograde a few months ago, and around the 24th of February, when it comes out, you're going to feel that impact as well. Now, you may feel an increase in the last few days of February and going into March, more motivation, more drive, more passion. Work with crystals such as ruby, red garnet, red jasper, cuprite, and cinnabar. These crystals are really, really great for Mars. They bring back that drive and that energy, and red jasper especially brings back that dynamism, but also keeps you grounded at the same time. An amazing essential oils to also work with as Mars comes out of retrograde to help you find that passion and drive that passion in positive ways is cardamom. Cardamom can be used in smoothies if it's from doTERRA. You can pop it in the diffuser, and just a little bit in massage blends can really help with circulation, can help with digestion and respiratory health as well, but can really help to get the chi and that drive and that passion and that fire driving back within you as well. So that's the 24th of February. Now, on the 27th of February is something that I've never spoken about before, and to be honest with you, I come to this video rather unprepared. I've been really getting into the work of an astrologer by the name of Alan Clay. Now, Alan Clay, he's based in New Zealand. His website is the Dwarf Planet University. And what he's really been focusing on is we know that beyond Pluto, we're starting to find these other smaller planets, which are getting called dwarf planets. And more are kind of being discovered. And then the powers that be are arguing, is this a dwarf planet or is this not? At the end of the day, they are significant astrological bodies, I guess, in our sky, and they are going to have an impact on us. And what we're finding is if you start working and start noticing the energy of the dwarf planets, those that are spiritual, it is kind of that higher vibration, next frequency, awakening of a new consciousness type of energy. So I've been looking at many of these, and you may have seen on my social media, my Instagram, my Facebook, me talking about ones like Humea and Quaor and Makamaka and different ones like this. But it's just a new one that's kind of come into my awareness in literally the last few days. Now, the dwarf planet is named Ceto or Keto, spelled C-E-T-O or K-E-T-O, but mainly C-E-T-O. And that is the name of a primordial Greek ocean goddess. More, not so much like Neptune or Salathea, his wife, but more so someone who lives deep within the ocean. And I'm really just starting to unpack what influence she has on our current life, but also what impact she has on, on our global astrology as well. Give me a few weeks, and if you follow me on Instagram or you follow me on Facebook, or hopefully you've gone to adambarralet.com and subscribed to my weekly newsletter for all these different updates as well, I'll have some more information later in the month. But my preliminary findings would say that she's very much to do with dealing with what lies deep within us, and almost also dealing with the generational stuff that's within there. Things that have been carried and learnt from generation to generation, things that have been passed on, the good wisdom, but also the bad habits, and doing some generational healing and cutting those cords. So the first crystals that kind of spoke out to me, there's a really great one for cutting cords and getting rid of the past, and that's Aegirine. So this is the Aegirine here. You will find that sometimes if you've got some charite, the black in that is Aegirine as well. So you could work with Aegirine because it looks like black tourmaline, but it's a totally different crystal, actually named after another Norse god of the ocean, Aegir. So Aegirine is really great for cutting cords and helping with generational healing. And another crystal that has it in it is called Kakortokite. Let me say it again, Kakortokite. Kakortokite. I think I spelled that right, Kakortokite, yes. And I do have a video on YouTube about it if you're interested in it. This has the black Aegirine in it, as well as Eudialyte, which is the magenta, and it's a white feldspar. So these, I feel, are going to be really great for helping us rise above and letting go of all that generational pain, not just in our families, but even in what past generations have done to this world, and how can we rise above that and heal that and not carry that guilt and that kind of attitude on any longer. An amazing essential oil for helping us to do that as well is cilantro. Cilantro we use physically for getting rid of heavy metals out of our body and for detoxing and helping to support our detoxification organs. And metaphysically, it also helps us to drop that from our psyche as well. So cilantro feels like a really great oil to work with. Now, I may totally change my crystals and oils as the month goes on. As I did said, sorry, I haven't done my full homework, but the month was ticking on. But that's going to be an exciting one to dive into. Are you going to notice Ceto retrograde as much as a Mercury retrograde? No, you're not. Or a Mars retrograde or a Venus retrograde. Those are big astrological bodies really close to our Earth. But if you are more sensitive to energy, starting to look at these dwarf planets and their shifts, and I spoke about a couple in January as well, this is going to really help you to kind of fine-tune your empathy and what's happening on this kind of global consciousness. Really great if you want to go that little bit deeper. If not, it's okay. Our final thing that's going to happen this month is going to be our new moon, and it's the new moon in Pisces. Of course, Pisces is the most spiritual sign of the zodiac. It's the last sign of the zodiac, and it's a time when we kind of start to think about our spirituality. It's really great to have the new moon in Pisces because it encourages us to think about where we want to go and how we want to achieve our spiritual goals in the next year. And that's exactly what the new moon's for. It is that contemplation, redirecting your sails. Have you fallen out of alignment? How can you get back in alignment? And most importantly, on the new moon in Pisces, we really want to get in tune with our own inner guidance as well as our outer guidance. And our outer guidance is our spiritual team, our ancestors, our guides, our animal totems, our guardian angels, our other angels, whatever you like to work with. You want to reinforce and kind of connect with them on that time. The crystal that I've chosen is this one called Vivianite. Now, this is a really stunning dark crystal. As you can see, when I first held it up, it looks almost black. But when you look at the colors a bit closer, you can see the blue, which obviously works with our mind, and the green that works with our heart. This really helps you listen to your guidance systems. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? And it's really about being quite autonomous and not being guided by what other people say you should be doing spiritually, but what you're actually drawn to do as well. So lean into Vivianite around that time. Just a little reminder that sometimes when you put Vivianite out in the sun or the daylight, it can actually turn the crystal darker and darker and darker. So I have a pendant of it, but I only wear it at night. In the daytime, maybe you just work with another black crystal that you really love. Black moonstone would be ideal. We're going to go back to good old sandalwood. Sandalwood is such a spiritual essential oil. Now, when I smell it, I know that I can smell that earthy woodiness that really helps to ground me on this planet, but it also has that spiritual aroma that kind of connects us up to the sky as well. That's exactly what we want to do in the new moon in Pisces, is connect our spirituality into our everyday life. So working with Vivianite and the sandalwood will really, really help. So that's what you can expect for February. So to summarize again, we have on the 3rd of February in the Southern Hemisphere, Lughnasadh, a great time to work with Sunstone and Wild Orange, whereas if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it is Imbolc, and you want to work with your Lapis Lazuli and your Sandalwood. Then on the 14th, we have our full moon in Leo. So grab your blue topaz and your yellow mandarin. We then have Mars going direct on the 24th of February. That's a great time to start to find that renewed passion and get out there and do those things that you really love to do. Living a life you love. Work with red crystals like ruby, red garnet, red jasper, cinnabar and cuprite, along with cardamom essential oil. Then we have on the 28th of February, Ceto going into retrograde, and that's where I'm going to encourage you to subscribe to my newsletter at adambarralet.com for the most details about it, but you'll also see some details as well on Instagram and Facebook. I went blank for a second there. And I may do a little video here on YouTube if you're just a YouTube fan and want to see that. I'll come back and talk a little bit about Ceto there as well. And then we wrap up the month on the 29th with the full... hold on. Is it the 29th or is it the 28th? Sorry, Ceto's 27th. There's only 28 days in Feb, isn't there? Ceto is the 27th, and we've got the 28th is our new moon in Pisces. And that's when we grab our Vivianite, and you can grab the Sandalwood out again. I'd love to know, what are you excited about? What did you notice about January? Just comment, say something, fill me in, give me some feedback, and share with our crystal and essential oil loving community down below. Because the more we share, the more we all learn together. And if you have anything to share about Ceto, I'm hungry for knowledge at the moment because I'm trying to find as much as I can. Thanks for hanging out with me for a few minutes. Enjoy February. Don't forget February 14th, if you get into Valentine's Day, if your partner's expecting a gift, I've given you 2 weeks warning. My pleasure. I'll talk to you soon. Pleasure. I can't speak today, can I? I'm Adam Barralet, and blessed be.